Hey guys, Andrew Nordbye here, taking over the Mystery Tackle Box channel today. If you guys haven't seen my YouTube channel, Fishing with Nordbye, please go check it out for me and subscribe. But we're out here on Lake Guntersville today, giving you guys a little snapshot of what the pros are going to be up against this week during the Bassmaster Classic. So Mystery Tackle Box reached out to me. I live on this lake, I fish this lake a ton, and we're going to be just driving around, do a little fishing here before the Classic, and just see what the fish are doing. To give you a little idea of what's going on the lake here, they've been pulling a ton of current. If you didn't notice, it's been a little different winter than normal down here. If you live in the area, it's rained a ton and it hasn't been that cold. It's just now starting to get cold, which is odd. So they're pulling 200,000 gallons on this river system right now, which is way more than normal. 20 to 40,000 gallons is probably average for this river system. It might be a little higher in the winter time, but they're pulling 200,000 gallons, which makes these fish pull off the main river channel, go in pockets, go back in creeks. There's a lot of docks on this lake, and what's different about the docks on this lake is that they are all grounded into the bottom of the lake. So they all have dock pulls going all the way into the bottom of the lake. They're either wooden or they're metal. Most of them are wooden, so that gives these bass a lot of cover to hide behind, and the fish normally spawn late March here, so we should be expecting some pre-spawn conditions. The fish will be pulling up in these creeks, in these pockets, staging, and then you guys know Lake Guntersville is known for grass. You got all sorts of grass, and the main type of grass that has taken this lake by storm the last couple years is eel grass. It didn't used to be in this lake, but now it's everywhere. You could be on fish one day and there's so much floating eel grass in this lake right now that the next day the wind changes directions, blows so much floating eel grass in your spot you won't be able to cast, and that's really going to have a damper on the day if that happens to some of these pros. So that's an obstacle they're up against. It'd probably be important for these pros to find spots where they can catch fish on both sides of the lake, no matter which way the wind is blowing. That is probably number one concern if I found fish here, would be where's the wind going to be blowing? Am I going to be able to fish it? Next, you want to be able to find some 𝗙𝗵𝗀𝗀 or some milfoil, coontail, just some sort of grass, maybe some pad stems. This lake is so long and there's fish from one end to the other, and fish are going to be everywhere right now. I would assume fish are going to be caught around bridges, fish are going to be caught around islands. Riprap bank is always a big player here on Lake Guntersville, but where I think the big ones are going to be caught are on these subtle grass lines up shallow in the back of creek pockets, and just where these fish are staging. They know the spawn is coming. You know, it's about a month out this year. It seems like it's going to be delayed a little bit. So let's go fish a few of these key areas where fish might be caught this week, and I'm excited. It's going to be a good Classic. Big ones are always caught here on Lake Guntersville, and what's cool right now is the bass are in schools. So you catch one, normally you catch multiple fish. So your pros they're going to find fish, and when they find them, they're going to find a little school of them, and they just need to find the right school. So that's what they're up against. Let's go catch a few. All right, so we just pulled up back in a little pocket here. We're right on the edge of this grass line. You can kind of see a little pocket on the grass that comes in, and we're fishing the edge of the grass that comes up, and these fish are sitting right on the edge. So one key bait this week that's going to work, a lot of people have been catching them on a red rattle trap. The water's muddied up from all the rain, so it's kind of tough to throw natural colors unless you're in a clear spot on the lake, which there's only a handful of pockets that are still clear right now. The water should clear up over the next few days. This rattle trap is definitely a key bait that you're going to see pros catching fish on this week. They're going to be ripping it out of grass. There's a couple different ways to fish this bait. You can either rip it up and down out of the grass, and that'll trigger a little reaction. If we get kind of some cold weather coming in, sometimes you have to do that. Or you can reel it right above the grass and try to tick the top of the grass, and that's going to get you some bites as well. And a lot of your bites come after you rip it out of the grass like that. So I think a lot of pros are going to be throwing a trap. They're going to be throwing chatterbaits. If they're fishing riprap, they'll probably be throwing a square bill or some type of shallow crankbait, bumping the rocks. I've been catching a lot of fish on riprap. Most of the time I've been using a little Alabama rig, catching a bunch on some riprap. There's always fish around riprap. They get on rocks pretty good in the springtime, but I don't think that's where it's going to be won. I think the Classic is going to be won back in a creek pocket or two on the edge of grass where these fish are schooled up and just staging to spawn. Another good bait is going to be a swim bait. I think guys are going to slow roll a swim bait in these pockets, take the edge of grass with those big old swim baits. There's giant fish here. The main key is going to be finding fish that are hungry and then throwing a bait to them that they want to eat. There's one. Yep, just took a little bit of grass, came out and ate it. There we go, guys. Got us one on here. Yeah, they're so cold this time of year. There we go. Decent little guy on the trap. There you go. You know, when the top hook is in their mouth, they tried to eat it head first, and that's how they hit it when they're crushing them. Fish are feeding right now. They're only feeding certain times of the day, but when they start feeding, man, they school up and they go to town. So that's just a little guy here on Guntersville, but if you can find where the big ones are, they're going to be eaten, and some guys are going to have a heyday out here. The thing about this lake is the fish are not scared to get shallow. You got a ton of these docks with poles going in. The fish have places to hide. There's grass around the docks, and if you find the right dock in the right depth where the grass drops off in front of it, that's going to be the money dock. I've been catching some fish on a swim bait with a weighted swim bait hook, just reeling it on the edges of these grass lines. I've been casting out there, and that's going to come into play for the pros this week. One inhaled it. There he is. All right, come on. Oh, that's not a bad one. There we go. Yeah. Okay, guys. There we go. He bit the swim bait. So the fish in this lake are gorging up on shad right now. They're super fat. Look how fat that guy is. This fish is probably, I don't know, 16, 17 inches, but he's got a belly on him. He's probably 3 pounds. He ate the swim bait. Fish gonna be caught this week on swim baits. So that's not a bad guy right there. It's gonna take some bigger fish than this though to win the Classic, that's for sure. All right, see you, buddy. There he goes. Not a bad one. Not a bad one at all. Right in front of this dock. I was fishing along the poles. The grass line kind of stops right out here, and he's swimming right on the edge of that. That's where he crushed it. Some fish are definitely going to be caught on causeways this week, guys. There's just no doubt about it. The riprap that comes into this lake next to the grass is just hard to beat, especially as the water temperatures are warming up here. The spring spawn's getting somewhat close. Fish are just going to be caught on these rocks on the causeways, and there's tons of causeways and bridges throughout the lake, so it's just a matter of finding the productive ones and throwing a crankbait, throwing something down the side of them. You get a little grass. There's a little floating eel grass here, but just popping through that grass, bumping the rocks, it's definitely a productive way to catch some fish out here at Lake Guntersville. There's one. There we go. Yeah, come on, buddy. All right. Whew. There we go, guys. He ate the little red squarebill. Not a bad little guy. I haven't really found big ones next to these causeways, but you definitely find some numbers. You definitely find some decent little bass, and that's about a 2-pounder. Not too bad. We're gonna release him real quick. See, buddy. There he goes. Not bad, but yeah. Definitely want to throw some crankbaits next to the riprap here. Red is a great color in the springtime when the fish are feeding and the water's kind of dingy, but that's why I'm throwing this color right here. I think this lake's going to be amazing for the Bassmaster Classic. The pros are going to catch them. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy watching, and drop a comment down below if you've ever been to Lake Guntersville, if you ever want to come try fishing here. It's an amazing lake, so much grass to fish, and in the fall when the frog bites on, man, that's a blast. You can actually catch a few frogfish right now if you find the right areas. You might see some pros doing that too. You never know. The baits I caught them on today are available at Carl's Bait and Tackle. It'll be linked down below in the description. You can check it out if you want to see any of those baits. But yeah, It's going to be a fun tournament. Hope you guys enjoy. Remember, check out my channel, Fishing with 𝗦𝗲. But thanks for watching. Enjoy the Classic. We'll catch you next time here at Mystery Tackle Box for another video.